All right, again, just really happy for our players, in specific our seniors, for their last game in Lane Stadium to find a way to get a victory was really nice. Um, Plenty to learn from on the film, um, good and bad. But now we turn our attention to Miami and the tremendous challenge that going on the road, playing there in a night game's going to provide for us. Um, Miami was as hot as anybody in the country here recently. Got a little bit behind in the game last week and fought and scratched and clawed their way all the way back and came up just a little bit short. So, uh, high-powered offense that likes to push the tempo. Obviously, Miami on defense, I think it starts with their defensive line, just how active and disruptive they are. Leads all the way back to their secondary. So, it'll be a huge challenge for us to get our guys, uh, ready to go play on the road.
Trey tweeted out that he might be driving to Miami. Is that the case?
Yeah, he might be. Just the same old deal. Is figure it out what the doctors say is best for him.
Who gets nominated to drive him? Like, you have to go by, does he have like a chaperone?
Well, we're not going to let him drive himself. I can tell you that much.
Have you,
As much as Trey would like to, we're not going to allow that to happen.
have you had that situation before where you
No,
had to drive
no,
a player?
no.
Okay. So no details yet.
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, we'll figure out who's going to take him. If that's what we've got to do, we'll drive him down there. I mean, I don't know if it's a whole story. It's kind of a short story, I guess. But no, I've never had it happen. I've never had anybody. I mean, we had, I guess this last year when we would have guys be positive while we were at the site, they couldn't come back with us. We had some of those things where guys had to drive back, or we had to provide them a ride back, where they couldn't come back with us with COVID. But I don't ever remember. I had one kid when I was at Memphis that couldn't come back with us, that I stayed back with him. But no, I've never had this situation.
Is Brock out for the season or week to week?
No, he's not out for the season. He'll work to get back. Hopefully he can play this week. I don't know if he will or won't, but no, it's certainly not a season thing.
What have you seen out of their quarterback that's given this offense a lift last couple weeks?
Well, I mean, I think he does a great job distributing the football, getting the guys on the outside the ball and opportunities to go make plays, and seems to have a really good understanding of what they're doing. He's a big, strong-armed kid that throws the ball really well, and has done a really good job of allowing those guys on the outside to go make plays.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I asked you about those Waller pass interference penalties after the game. Did you get a chance to review them, and what you kind of think of? I think I've called for 3 of them. In terms of what was he doing anything wrong, or just tough calls?
Oh, I mean, I think one was unnecessary. He was in plenty good position. There was really no need for it. One was kind of a bang play that happens. I mean, to me, could have gone either way. And then I thought the other one was a tough call. So those are the 3. One of them, Jermaine was in plenty good a position. He didn't need to do it. The other one was a bang play, and one of them I thought was a little rough.
Dax and Allen both got in the backfield a lot last week. What did you notice on film, just the penetration?
Well, I mean, whether it's a blitz or you're hugging up, your guy, the guy that you've got to cover is blocking and gives you an opportunity to kind of react and rush the quarterback. We had one of those for Dax, and that shows a good understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished. We have tried to move those guys a little bit and give them chances to blitz and get them singled up a little bit, and they've been able to make some of those plays.
Caleb Smith, first touchdown of the season. He's done so much of that dirty work behind the scenes. How excited were you for him when he was able to get in the end zone?
Well, really pleased. I mean, he had a big, huge third down conversion, then the reverse pass touchdown. It's just again, I kind of put him in the category. We talk about a lot of these kids. I see them behind the scenes every day, how they work and the dedication they have to the team and to each other and to their craft. It's nice for them to get rewarded, in a public venue occasionally, because they do work really hard and do a lot of things that don't show up in the box score, and that's certainly been Caleb.
We ask you so much in the offseason about the running backs and how you're going to split carries like that. 10 weeks in, do you feel like you have a good handle on how splitting things up there is going to work and who the guys should get there?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's still flexible. I mean, Malachi gets dinged up in the game and provides opportunities for other people. But yeah, I'd say we have a good handle on it.
Dwayne Lofton, the pass that when he stepped out of bounds, is that a rookie mistake where he's got to get further inbounds, or was it so close that's just,
Well, I mean, I'd prefer that he stay in bounds, yeah. I mean, it's pretty close. It wasn't like he ran 5 yards out of bounds and came back in and caught the pass, I mean, he was barely out of bounds. But, yeah, I'd prefer he stay in. I mean, it's I mean, he's out there in full time, full speed. Braxton's moving on the move, and he turns to wheel to get up the field and, steps out of bounds by an inch. It's hard to get too upset with him, but, in the same respect, having a little bit of awareness of where you're at is important.
All right, David Teal.
Justin, in the first 6 games this season, Raheem averaged 3.7 yards per carry. And in the last 4, he's averaging 7.2, nearly double. What happened?
I would say that Raheem's adjusted a little bit, and really, it's kind of like, I don't know if this is a good analogy. It's probably not, but he's satisfied as a hitter to take a walk. He's satisfied with hitting a single, opposite field single. He's satisfied with pouring it up in there and getting 4 tough yards. And as a byproduct, I think some of the bigger runs have come from that, as opposed to swinging for the fences at every time you touch the ball. He may disagree with me, but that's how I feel. I think we've done a pretty good job up front the last few weeks being able to create some things running the football. But I think he's been more satisfied and more conscientious of getting north and south quicker.
Has that been the case with him? I know last year you felt like maybe you put too much on his plate. But even then, when he was running the ball, did you feel like he was swinging for the fences then as well?
I felt like that a little bit. Yeah, I felt like there's just a little bit of trying to make everything perfect as opposed to just punching a hole in it and let's live with the results. And so yeah, I mean, I felt like there was a little bit of that going on, just wanting to make a big play, wanting to influence the outcome of the game every single time. And that's not a bad thought, right? I don't want to diminish those feelings amongst our players. I just want them to understand how those big plays come about is through doing the ordinary time after time, and then the big plays come.
And then just one more quick one. Tavion continues to excel as a punt returner. How has he improved even more this season? He had issues last year, but clearly in 19 he had shown flashes as well.
Well, I think he's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. He's improved his body. He's stronger and quicker, than he was 2 years ago. He is comfortable out there, communicating and saving yardage. I think that's probably, the last couple of weeks we played punters that have sprayed the ball all over the place, and the return yardage has been nice, but he saved us a lot of yardage fielding the ball. You know, when the ball hits the ground and bounces up and he makes a quick fair catch signal and fields that ball, I mean, that saves 7 yards. I mean, those are important. That's important hidden yardage there. So he's done a much better job overall. And then I would say this: the other 10 guys on the field are taking a tremendous amount of pride in blocking for Tavion. And when you watch our film, that group is putting forth great effort, hustling, and you know they know they've got somebody back there that has a chance to go make a big play, and they're doing everything they can to give him that opportunity.
Wes?
Coach, two things. One, first on Johnny Jordan. Can you speak to how valuable he's been and how versatile he's been to be able to come in, play guard, play center, and just his ability to communicate?
Yeah, it's you know, he's first of all, he's just fit right in the room. I mean, he's a pleasure to be around. All the coaches and his teammates, you know, love being around him. He's got a great attitude. He's a great worker. Just so, you know, I'm not sure he's ever had a bad day. You know, he's one of those guys that's just a pleasure when you see him in the hallway. Now, his versatility has been huge. This is a guy that's played a lot of snaps already. I'm talking about in his career. And, you know, his ability to jump in there at center this week and just fill in seamlessly and get things identified and get those other 4 offensive linemen pointed in the right direction is huge. We actually recognized him yesterday as one of the players of the week just for his role in filling right in there and being as productive as he was, and us not seeing issues in terms of, you know, getting the protection identified and in the run game, getting people directed in the right spot. Because if you're not on the same page, you've got very little or no chance of having success on the offensive side of the ball.
And then one as it pertains to Miami, I'm sure it's welcome after last Saturday night, but how tricky is it to go when your players are getting used to playing in that cold November environment to go down to Miami? I know it's going to be a night game, but just how unique is that to just make adjustments like that in second week or second to last week in November?
Yeah, well, I think it's awesome. You know, I get a chance to get down there and feel some warm weather. You know, a couple years ago, it really concerned me when we played Florida State on basically the 1st of September about our conditioning level. You know, just having known what the summer can look like, you know, here versus the summer, you know, farther south. I was really worried about that. When you play this game a little bit later on in the year, you know, you're in football shape, but you do get a little acclimated to the cold air. So I don't anticipate it'll be an issue for us. I think it'll be a welcomed opportunity for us to get down there and move around a little bit in the warm weather.
All right, thank you.
Eric?
Hey, Coach, I know it's been a topsy-turvy season for really everybody across the ACC, and I know you take every game 1 week at a time, but do you have any specific goals for the team in terms of the next 2 weeks and making sure you finish up the season strong?
Well, we've got a fantastic opportunity in front of us at the next 2 opponents. You're talking about Miami and going on the road to play a team that's steeped in tradition and talent, and then our rivalry game after that. So tons to be excited about. If you can't get excited for those 2 games, I can't help you. You know, I mean, it's just an awesome opportunity finishing up the year. We still feel like we're continuing to improve. Our guys are working diligently to continue to get better. So we welcome the next 2 weeks as an awesome opportunity.
Mike?
Yeah, Coach, along those same lines, because of last year's situation and the no bowl and all that, I know you take 1 game at a time, but is becoming bowl eligible important to this group?
Certainly. I mean, our seniors would like to get this thing to bowl eligible and have that opportunity. So, absolutely.
I know it's hard sometimes this time of year for some programs to find motivation. You just mentioned you've got plenty to play for in this final stretch. How much does that help keep practice sharp, keep guys engaged, knowing that that there are games to be excited for?
Well, I mean, it certainly, I don't know to what degree it helps, but it certainly helps. You know, that we've got plenty to play for, plenty on the table. And like I keep saying, we got a great group of kids that genuinely care about each other and are excited to go have an opportunity to play together. So, you know, we've got all the motivation that we need. You know, you only get so many opportunities. You know, we're not guaranteed anything, and you got to take as a player particularly, you got to take advantage of each of those opportunities.
Thank you.
Hank?
Hey, Justin, when you guys have struggled as you have, how much of a bump do you get from a win like Saturday night? It seemed like the most prevalent word used to describe your guys was smiling, something like that after the game.
Well, it certainly helps your attitude. I mean, as much as we don't want those things to affect us. They certainly do. You know, the difference between winning and losing is so small, but the difference in how you feel when you win or lose is so big. You know, and I think it's important as coaches that regardless of the outcome, that you continue to highlight the things that were good and try and coach on the things that need improvement. And we certainly did that yesterday. But you know, winning certainly helps.
A lot of times it seems like defensive coaches kind of froth at the mouth at the idea of playing a freshman quarterback. Is this kid the proverbial played enough so you no longer consider him a freshman kind of guy, or still opportunities there?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's got plenty of experience. I mean, it's one thing if you break out a freshman in the middle of the season that hadn't played any. That's certainly not the case. This youngster's a seasoned freshman.
Thank you.
David, did you have something else?
Yeah, just real random, just because he's made a couple from long distance. Just what is Romo's range? I mean, how comfortable, how far out would you be comfortable sending him onto the field?
Well, like the game Saturday, you know, going to our left there into the wind, the ball at the 30-yard line was our cutoff, and that's exactly where the ball was on the one he missed, just a little bit to the right. But all things being equal, like when I say that, I mean not a heavy wind one way or the other. Maybe the end of the half, right? You know, last play of a half or something. You know, 55 yards is. You know, maybe I could stretch it 1 or 2 more yards if it was the last play, and we'd rather do that as opposed to try and throw it in the end zone. I don't know that I would try one like that. You know, I don't know if we'd line up for a 57-yarder in the middle of the first quarter, but you know, 55 yards probably about what I feel. You know, he's got plenty of leg.
All right. Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Yep.